This is the story of Amanda. Tired of daily routine, she wakes up in the morning and plans for a vacation in a nearby beach. She herself books a house, packs the bag, and tells the plan to her husband Clay. Amanda and Clay sets for the destination with their 2 children Rosie and Archie. The house they booked turns to be better than they expected. Amanda takes a quick tour of the house and then goes to the supermarket. Outside she sees a man buying things in a large quantity. First she becomes surprised, but she doesn't think too much. The family goes to the beach. Rosie notices an oil tanker. She feels wired as it seems, the tanker is approaching towards them. She tells her parents but they take it lightly. But after a few minutes the ship was very close to the beach. Rosie warns and they start running as the ship hits the beach. They had to leave the place. Clay asks a security officer about the incident. He tells him that it was due to navigation failure. 2 more same incidents happened few days ago. At home there was no signal on Wi-Fi and TV. Amanda sees 2 deer in their garden. She becomes very happy to see such a beautiful view. At night someone knocks at their door. It was a man and a girl. The man surprisingly knew Amanda. His name is George, and the girl is his daughter named Ruth. They claim themselves as the owner of the house. George says that there is a power blackout in the city and they had no option but return to their home. They request to stay for the night. But Amanda feels uncomfortable with strangers. She also doubts them to be the owner of the house. George offers 50% refund of their booking. Finally Clay manages to convince Amanda. George and Ruth sleep in the basement room. Ruth is very straightforward, and Amanda doesn't like the way she speaks. Actually Amanda has a problem with people. She doesn't like or trust anyone. In TV the government declares national emergency. Also a news that there is a cyber attack in the country, and power outage reported along East Coast metropolitan areas. Amanda wakes up and receives notification about the blackout and cyber attack. Rosie sees hundreds of deer in their front yard. It was abnormal because, generally deer don't come so close to human habitat. Clay goes to the supermarket for newspaper, and to find someone who can help them about the situation. On the road he sees a woman who was asking for help. Clay stops his car. The woman rushes to him. She was crying and says something in Spanish. Unfortunately Clay doesn't realize what she was trying to say. He starts his car and leaves the place. After some time he sees a drone dropping something from sky. He turns his car toward home. But eventually those things fall over his car. George goes to his neighbor's house. Everything was broken, scattered here and there in front of the house. Finding no answer, he enters the house. He finds a satellite telephone and tries to use it. But it wasn't working. He concludes that someone may hack the satellite also. He goes to the beach. He finds a watch on the ground. When he tries to pick the watch, he discovers the watch was on a hand. Frightened he looks around and finds dead bodies all over the beach. There was also Aeroplane crushed on the ground. Suddenly he sees a plane approaching towards him. He runs and after some time it falls on the beach. He somehow takes shelter in a house. Rosie and Archie go to the jungle. They find a shed. They enter but find no one. But there was a mark of someone sleeping there. There was a window in the room. Rosie's room can be seen straight through the window. Archie scares Rosie. They return from there. On the way a bug bites Archie. Rosie sees a house and wants to go there. But Archie says that he is hungry. George returns, and tells everything to Amanda. Amanda hears the sound of plane crash in the beach. After that, they all hear a loud noise which cracks their window. Amanda runs to the forest in search of her children, covering her ears with hand. But the sound was too loud. She falls on knees in the ground. The children find her. Amanda remembers the man, who bought daily products at large quantity. She doubts that he might know this would happen. George knows the man. His name is Danny. He is also the contractor of the house. Clay returns home. He tells everything that happened on the road. Those things that fell on the car were actually leaflets. There was something written in Arabic on it. Archie tells that he saw the same kind of writing in a video game. It says "Death to America." Everyone gets scared. The family decides to leave immediately. George advises them to stay. But they don't listen to him. In the highway both sides of the road is blocked by cars. They were all brand new self-driven Tesla cars. There was no driver in any car. The cars crashed one after another. Amanda notices cars approaching in wrong lane. She quickly moves her car from the road. Then she somehow drives through cars and returns the home. The highway and bridge was blocked by many crashed cars. George tells them to enter the house. Rosie eagerly waits to watch the ending of her favorite show Friends. At night Ruth and Clay vape together and George and Amanda talks about each other. Amanda says sorry for her behavior. Ruth and Clay hear noise in the pool. They find flamingo birds in the pool. The loud noise starts again. This time it was so loud that it breaks the glass window and cuts off the electricity of the house. The flamingos fly away from there. Archie had a high fever last night. He wakes up and his mouth was bleeding. He touches his teeth and they starts to fall one by one. He thinks the bug might be reason for this. George tells that they can go to Danny's house for help. He always prepares for this kind of situation. Maybe they can get some medicine and antibiotics from him. On the other side Rosie was missing. They all search in the house but couldn't find her. Finally, Clay and George take Archie to Danny's house, and Ruth and Amanda start searching Rosie in the jungle. They find the shed, but she wasn't there. They had a heated argument and Ruth confronts Amanda for her hatred toward other people. Amanda calms down and tells Ruth that she works in a field where her job is to manipulate people to buy her products. People hide their actual face for own benefits. They forgot that they are all humans. She always tried to run away from these people throughout her life. But now, she is desperate to return in human society. Suddenly they hear sound outside of the shed. Amanda finds sign of tire on the ground. She follows them. A herd of deer tries to attack Ruth. Amanda runs toward her and tries to scare the deer. They both shouts and the deer run away from there. On the other hand, they reach Danny's house. Danny starts behaving strangely. First he tells them to step up from the porch and stand by their car. Then he comes out with a gun. Clay tells the situation. Danny tells them it happened because of the noise. It is known as microwave weapon. They produce a kind of radiation that can be beamed out through sound. Some days ago, the similar incident happened in Cuba. There were some people who lost their tooth in a similar way. It could be start of a war. The Russians called their people to return home from Washington as soon as possible. George asks for medicine but Danny refuses to give. He also says that their neighbor known as the Thrones did a basement conversion. They surely made an emergency bunker. He tells them to go away from his house. George denies leaving the place until he gives them the medicine. Danny gunpoint at them. Clay stops them, begs for medicine. He offers money too. At the end he manages to convince him. Danny gives them medicine in exchange of money. He tells them that either Korean or the Chinese are doing these. One of his friend received leaflets like Clay did. It was written in either Korean or in Mandarin. Clay shows the leaflet he got. He thought it was Iran who is behind all of these. Danny smiles. He tells, they have created so many enemies in the world. Some of them might join together to destroy America. They leave the place. In the car George tells Clay that he knows what is happening. He doubted, but wasn't too sure about it. Now after more information he is sure. His biggest client works in defense. George spends a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified his client the most. A simple three-stage maneuver that could topple a country government from within. The first stage is isolation. Disable their communication and transport. Make the target deaf, dumb and paralyzed as possible. Then the second stage is synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation. Overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon system vulnerable to extremists and their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive people would start turning on each other. If done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own. Civil war, collapse of government. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country. Because if the target nation was the dysfunctional enough, it would in essence do the work for you. George tells that they need to go to the Throne's house as soon as possible. Amanda and Ruth watch the city burning, getting destroyed. Outside of Throne's house, Rosie's cycle was on the ground. She broke into the house. She eats food and then discovers the bunker. She turns on the light and finds food, water, bed, greenhouse plant, gym, television, everything necessary to survive, in the room. She finds the CD of last episode of Friends. She forgets everything and starts watching the show. Leave the World Behind, released on the 22nd of November 2023 on Netflix. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment your opinion regarding the film. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.